Welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're mastering the high-stakes world of project management and critical path analysis. Whether you are building a massive bridge, launching a new tech product, or, say, producing the next blockbuster TV show, getting your scheduling right is quite literally the difference between massive success and a very, very expensive failure.
Here's our roadmap for today. We will breeze through the foundations, dig into the actual mechanics of network diagrams, calculate float and critical paths, apply it all to a massive Netflix case study, and wrap up with some high-level strategic decision-making.
Section 1. Foundations of Project Management. Let's look at why businesses absolutely obsess over planning and scheduling.
When we're dealing with complex operations, network analysis is our best friend. Think of it as a graphical map. It takes a sprawling, chaotic project and visually lays out every single task, showing us exactly what needs to happen before the next thing can even start. It's the ultimate tool to visualize the entire flow from day one to wrap-up, letting managers allocate resources effectively and, crucially, kill uncertainty.
And to show you exactly what's at stake, let's talk numbers. In the fictional Netflix series case study we're looking at today, hitting a specific 15-month launch target is incredibly lucrative. If the show drops in that exact window, it hits peak viewing time, which could bring in an estimated $350 million in first-year subscription revenue alone. So yeah, time is money here.
Moving right along to Section 2, Mechanics of Network Diagrams, where we learn how to read the nodes.
Before diving into a full diagram, you've got to understand the nodes, those little circles that map out the project. Each one requires 3 key pieces of data. Step 1, you identify the task's duration, which is just how long it takes. Step 2, you calculate the earliest start time, or EST, by working forward through your timeline. And finally, Step 3, you calculate the latest finish time, or LFT, by working backwards. Basically, you need to know the absolute latest a task can finish without blowing up the whole project schedule.
Which brings us to Section 3, Float and Critical Path. Let's see how we use those numbers to hunt down the project's biggest bottlenecks.
The critical path is essentially the backbone of your entire project. It is the exact sequence of tasks that dictates the absolute minimum time needed to get the job done. If a single task on this path slips, your whole project slips. On the flip side, we have float time. This tells you exactly how much breathing room a specific task has. You calculate it pretty easily. Take the latest finish time, subtract the task's duration, and then subtract the earliest start time.
All right, let's look at our game board. This is a fictional network diagram pulled from our source material for a major new Netflix series. You can see the nodes taking us all the way from Activity A, which is planning, straight through to Activity H, post-production. And remember, every single month counts if they want to hit that golden 15-month peak viewing target.
Now it's your turn to put these mechanics to work. Pause the explainer now and complete Task 1. Using the Netflix network diagram, calculate the float time for Activity C, script writing, and identify the original critical path for the project.
Let's break down the solution. For Activity C, the latest finish time is 9, the duration is 3, and the earliest start time is 4. Do the math, 9 minus 3 minus 4, and that leaves us with a float time of 2 months. As for the original critical path, the route with absolutely zero float, that is activities A, B, D, E, and H. The huge takeaway here, script writing has a nice 2-month buffer, and our critical path takes exactly 15 months, landing us perfectly in that prime viewing window to snag that $350 million prize.
On to Section 4, the Netflix case study. Because let's be real, business never goes exactly to plan. Time to throw a wrench into the works.
Here's our plot twist. A sudden writer's strike hits the industry. According to our source material, this unexpected strike delays Activity C by 6 full months. Now, remember that 2-month float time we just calculated? Yeah, that buffer is completely gone, blown right past. When we look back at the diagram, a massive 6-month delay in script writing creates an absolutely brutal bottleneck. We can't just carry on as normal. The earliest start times for everything waiting on Activity C, so activities E, F, and G, they all have to be completely recalculated.
Let's figure out what this means in the real world. Pause the explainer now and complete Task 2. Build a chain of reasoning to show how a 6-month delay in Activity C alters the critical path and results in a measurable reduction in subscription revenue.
Let's walk through that analytical chain together. Because our 2-month float was totally eclipsed by a 6-month delay, the critical path actually shifts. It moves from A, B, D, E, H over to A, C, E, H. When we add up those new durations, the total project time stretches from 15 months all the way out to 19 months. Bottom line, the project is hit with a 4-month total delay, completely missing that prime 15-month peak viewing schedule.
And missing that launch window sets off a terrifying domino effect. The case study data shows this delay will trigger an expected 45% loss of our $350 million subscription revenue. Oh, and it gets worse. Fewer subscribers means advertising revenue will probably take a hit too, dragging sales down even further.
Let's move into Section 5, Strategic Decision Making. Time to step into the executive suite and evaluate our data.
Okay, before we completely panic over that 45% drop, we really have to look closely at our sources. The text points out that this dire estimate was provided by a finance assistant. That changes things a bit, right? A junior staffer in the finance department might simply lack the on-the-ground operational insight to know what mitigating actions the production team can actually take.
Which brings us to our final evaluation. Pause the explainer now and complete Task 3. Ask for justified judgment on whether network analysis is a more reliable strategic tool for an agile business than relying on subjective estimates from junior staff members.
In your evaluation, you probably realize that a network diagram is a living, breathing document, not some rigid cage you're trapped in. For instance, a production director noted that they could just throw additional resources at the problem. They might speed up later activities, maybe cut down post-production time, to offset the scriptwriting delay. Plus, if the show is genuinely amazing, it'll generate long-term rerun revenue, which softens that initial 45% blow over time anyway.
And honestly, that perfectly highlights the core evaluation of network analysis itself. It is an incredibly powerful tool. It cuts down uncertainty, helps you allocate resources like a pro, and visually flags bottlenecks before they destroy your timeline. But, and this is a big but, the output is only as good as the estimates you feed into it. If your initial time estimates are wrong, your whole critical path is wrong.
Which leaves us with this final thought to chew on. In an unpredictable world of sudden strikes and chaos, when hundreds of millions of dollars are on the line, do you trust the strict mathematical models of your network analysis to save you? Or is the reactive, creative agility of your human management team the only real safety net?